Welcome to the Typical Sportsman podcast. I've got the turkey man himself, Mr. Nate Hosie. Nate is the one that I would say is probably responsible for this series. He sparked something in me to say, I need to give turkey hunting a fair chance and look at it with new eyes. And so I just wanted to do the same for you, give you the chance to look at turkey hunting from the ground up, from the beginning. So if you've never turkey hunted a day in your life, you can digest this 5-part series and feel like you're ready to go out and turkey hunt. Or if you're a diehard turkey hunter, maybe this series just gets you absolutely fired up to go turkey hunting in the next month or so. Maybe you'll learn something new along the way. Who knows? Nate Hosie is going to cover all of the different tactics when it comes to turkey hunting, when to utilize different tactics, how your tactics change throughout the season, how your tactics change chasing well-pressured birds versus not. How do your tactics change if you know where the birds, if you put the birds to bed versus you don't know where the birds are, all of that and more. Guys, it is a really good episode. I learned a lot about how to go out and be more successful in the turkey woods, and I hope you do as well. This entire series is brought to you by my good friends over at Blocker Outdoors. Not to mention the giveaway that Blocker has partnered with me on. So we are giving away a fully guided turkey hunt here in Kansas, $300 worth of Blocker outdoor gear, and a brand new pack of the Dirty Bird broadheads from G5. All you've got to do to be entered to win, make sure you are subscribed to the Typical Sportsman on either YouTube or Spotify, and then go like and follow my 3 friends on Instagram, Skeen Outfitters, which is who you'll be hunting with, Blocker Outdoors, and G5 Outdoors. Go follow those guys and make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, and we're going to give away a guided turkey hunt. Let's jump in with Mr. Nate Hosie and talk about different turkey tactics.
For the true sportsman, it's more than a pastime. It's a way of life. Embrace the lifestyle of hunting, fishing, and the thrill of the wild. Live the life. Be typical.
It's not often that a new company comes along in the archery world and just absolutely changes the game. However, that is exactly what Dialed Archery did when they entered the scene. Pretty much took the archery world by storm, and for good reason. Now, if you followed me, you know my review of the Arxos. There was some things I didn't like about the Arxos. However, when the proof was introduced, here's what they did. They took all of the customer feedback. They took all the customer feedback so well that I believe with the proof, they have created a perfect sight. They listened to what the archery world wanted and needed out of a sight, and that's what they got with the proof. It is completely redesigned. It's completely in every way. It's just a better sight. They have improved on every issue that people had with the Arxos, and they have created, in my opinion, an absolute bomb-proof sight. Completely customizable on the website. Colors, pin configuration, pin sizes, pin colors, completely customizable. You get exactly what you want right out of the box. Guys, I would highly encourage you to go check out Dialed Archery for your next sight. You are going to get, here's what I promise you, you are going to get more yardage out of a sight tape. Now, for a guy who's relatively on the short side of a draw length, that's pretty important to me. I shoot a heavier arrow and I don't have an incredibly long draw length. So that rail giving me a little bit more out of my sight tape is something that's very important to me. However, all of the other features of the proof make a bomb-proof sight. You can throw that thing around the mountain. You can drag it through the mud. It's going to perform every single time because Dialed has created, in my opinion, with the proof, the perfect sight. Go check out dialedarchery.com for your next and your last bow sight. All right. I don't make it a habit of making my guest have a big head or anything. However, I do want to say I feel as though Nate is directly responsible for this series.
I don't know if we go that far.
No, and I'll tell you my reasoning why. everybody knows, and I'm not hiding this in this series, I have not been a turkey hunter up to this point. I've often said I don't like turkey hunting. However, I will admit that maybe I don't like it because of the way I grew up doing it. Maybe I don't like it because of the tactics I used, and I didn't use fun tactics, and I didn't really learn how to communicate with birds. And so I made a promise to the listeners that I'm going to look at turkey hunting with a fresh set of eyes and just start over as though I've never done it before and learn from the ground up. And so that's the purpose of this series. And so just having heard Nate and how passionately he talks about birds, having heard Nate and how much he loves birds, I'm like, I want to fall in love with this. Like, I want to be addicted to turkey hunting, like Nate is. And so I just decided, well, let's look at it with fresh eyes, but let's give the listener that ability as well. And so if you've been following along, new episodes every day this week. And Nate is going to cover turkey tactics. Nate is, well, before we get into the tactics, give us a background to your turkey hunting kind of journey and adventure and how you got to being such a turkey addict.
I want to start out first by saying I've enjoyed this journey, walking this journey with you on your way to becoming a man now and becoming a turkey hunter, number one. So I just want to say that I'm grateful to be a part of this walk with you. When it comes to turkey hunting, ever since I was a kid, man, I started hunting when I was 5 years old. My grandpa and my dad, we were working bird dogs, chasing pheasants and grouse, and got into whitetails. Obviously, Pennsylvania has a strong heritage of whitetail hunting. And then once I kind of got into turkey hunting with a few of my friends here in town, first guy to ever take me was Buzz Frazier. We had connected on a turkey in the fall, and that was fun. It was cool, some interaction. But when I started going with my neighbors, with my dad, with Bob Casello, Butch Malatesi, these guys were kind of country certified turkey killers, and they started teaching me kind of I always say it's kind of like an art form, working a turkey and calling a turkey. And that conversation was just something that I quickly became obsessed with. I love the offensive aspect of it, the run and gun, the conversation back and forth. And I just love when you're working a turkey, you're kind of just zoned in and focused and nothing else is going on around you. You're not worried about what you're worrying about before you got there or what you're doing after. You're just zoned into that conversation and what that turkey's saying and what you're saying to him. So really, like I said, it's an art form, a kind of therapeutic art form to me, that you can get out there and work a turkey and have this conversation. And Lord willing, you say the right things, and he makes his way down in there. Or you either punch a tag, or somebody that you might be working the turkey for gets to punch a tag, or at least be a part of the experience of an old lovesick longbeard coming in.
Yeah. Well, and I made the claim on the last episode that I truly feel as though this series has worked. Like, I can't tell you the last time I was like, dude, I'm ready. I don't know that ever I've been like, dude, I'm so ready to go turkey hunting. But hearing the more of you guys talk, and these 5 guys, again, I found 5 just guys that love turkey hunting. And 5 guys who are really good at it. If you're going to learn, why not listen to the best talk about it? And so I found 5 guys, but then you hear Waddell, and he shares, he says it in a way where he's like, if you want to get good at hunting everything else, you get good at hunting birds. And I was just like, man, there's some truth to that. Like, there is some, like, just thinking about it in my head, I'm like, there's a lot of truth to that if I will learn how to hunt turkeys and get in their bedroom and get them within, 20 yards, I'll be better at everything else. I'll be a better elk hunter. I'll be a better deer hunter. I will understand the woods better. And so I truly am fired up. And I made the claim on last episode that it's now something. When I started the series, it was kind of just like we'll see what happens. But now it's like, man, I really hope I fall in love with this. I really hope that the way this bird plays us and the way that I get to experience turkey hunting this year, that it's something that I get addicted to, because I hear you guys talking. I'm like, man, it fires me up, dude. And so I truly am excited. One thing that excites me the most, and you can speak to this probably better than anybody, I feel with turkey hunting, there are more tactics you can use than probably any other species.
Well, I would agree, to a certain extent. In all scenarios, you have the ability to be offensive, whether it be, let's just utilize whitetail, since, whitetail's the giant in a lot of ways. You could spot and stalk. We've seen it done by people before. You can utilize a decoy. You can utilize ground blinds, tree stands, whatever. So to an extent, you are being offensive. There's no doubt in that. But then there's a lot of defensive. There's a lot of, waiting and, making sure that you're in the right spot for this buck to come through. Where turkey hunting, I just feel like, especially in a run and gun style, you're kind of encapsulating all of that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're moving, you're grooving, and you're doing it all each and every day. It's never just, well, I'm going to walk to the same tree because I got a north wind. Every day I got a north wind, or I'm going to walk to the same tree every day I got a south wind, or the shooting house, or whatever it is that you hunt out of. So, I mean, there's definitely similarities within it all, but turkey hunting is just over and over and over again. You're utilizing a lot of those tactics. You know what I mean? Where do I need to set up? How do I need to set up? Where's he most likely going to come from? Where do I need to get to? How close is too close? Will he not come in here because it's too thick? Will he not come in here because it's too open? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different things that kind of encapsulates all into these turkey hunts each and every day that you go out, which is what I like. And again, there could be some people that just hunt the same spot every day because they know that sooner or later a long beard is going to come through here, and that's fine too. But in the most aspects of turkey hunting, especially in the way that we utilize it and the way that we do it for filming purposes, it is an ever-changing, moving target. Every day is a new scenario. Similarities, for sure, but we got new scenarios. We got new questions to ask and to answer in trying to harvest and punch tag in a big old gobbler.
Well, and I used to say that bear hunting was my favorite because there's all these different tactics you can use, and there's all these different places you can hunt them. You can spot and stalk. You can hunt them in the mountains. You can hunt them in the thick North Maine woods. You can run them with dogs. You can sit over bait. There's all these different things you can do with bears. But the more that I hear people talk about turkey hunting, I'm like, dude, I think that goes even a step further with turkeys. I mean, you can put them to bed and hunt them as soon as they fly down. You can sit in a blind and you can use a decoy. You can run and gun. There's all these different tactics to use. And listen, I'm not claiming here to be a turkey expert. I'm actually claiming the opposite. Have I killed a couple birds? Yes. Was it by accident? Probably. Did I do everything right? Not even close. So I'm excited to learn this, man. I'm excited to kind of hear all the different tactics you can use, maybe when to use other tactics, how to know what's the best move to make and all these sort of things. So before we get into that, give us a rundown on the different tactics that you would utilize throughout a season.
I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways you can go about that. But I think that each and every day you're going to have pretty much the same basic rundown, right? You want to have one located if you can, right? So let's go with the idea that we have one located. Okay, so we know where he's at. So now we're going to focus on our setup. Once we focus on our setup, because we have one located, we want to make sure not to bump him from his location. Okay, so we want to make sure to use our woodsmanship and things like that to get into a good position that we think that we could ultimately pull him to. Because turkey's gobbling in the tree and stuff like that. When you work that turkey in, you're breaking he's making all that noise so that she walks over to him. You know what I mean? Like, he's letting her know where he is. In nature, in a lot of ways, that hen is going to go to him. So when you pull him away and you work him to your setup, to an extent, you're kind of breaking nature's pattern there by pulling him away. Because a lot of times that lady, she's heading over to him, that hen. So, I'm going to locate them. We're going to have our setup, and then I'm going to go into tree calling, tree yelping, things like that. Now, in the setups, depending, I'm most likely going to be utilizing decoys. So I want to make sure whether I'm timber or whether I'm field, they have a good vantage point to where I think most likely, not that they can't change it, most likely they're going to come from. And then, you start the calling routine. You start different things, reading the turkey, picking, trying to gauge his temperature, seeing how he's responding back to you. But in addition to that, now if you don't have one located, well, now you're changing your tactics a little bit. For me, I'm going to cover a lot of ground. I'm going to try to figure out, could I find a turkey? I want to run and gun a little bit. Smart. I don't want to just rush the brush and scare everything out of there. I want to do my best not to bump, but at the same time, make some maneuvers to go out there and be offensive and find a turkey. You know what I mean? You use some of those tactics to find it. And a lot of times too, that also involves gearing it down. So when you don't have one found, you've got to kind of take your time, look for sign, go old school, tracks, scratching. If turkeys are living in an area, they'll let you know that they're there. So you have to utilize your woodsmanship and figure it out. But to say that there's a cut and dry, I'm doing this today and I'm doing that tomorrow, a lot of it is we're kind of feeling it out as we go. If we have unlocated, we're going to do things a certain way. If we don't have one located, we're going to do things a different way and try to locate. So although the similarities is just we're going to be out there and we're going to be trying to make it happen, each scenario to an extent could be different depending on, what we're given in the hunt that we're on particularly.
So, and I'm not saying it's not the most successful thing to know right where a bird is roosted for the night. I'm not saying it's not the most successful way to hunt. However, like those are the videos where I'm just like, that was stupid. Like the bird flew right down in front of you and you shot it. Like that didn't do anything for me. You didn't have to work for that.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, like that could definitely happen. But for as many turkey hunts as I go on a year, I would say that killing a turkey off the roost is probably about 5% of them.
Okay.
Like that it actually happens right then and there. Now it could, and it has, and it's awesome when it does. But I would say that's about 5% of the time that it just goes absolutely perfectly. He hits the ground, he comes right to your location, and it's over. You know what I mean? Especially as you get later into the season, they start to feel some pressure. They start to deal with some pressure. Those scenarios become a little less likely. Again, not that I'm saying it's impossible by any means, but I'm saying if you go out and you're going to turkey hunt, let's say for anybody, you go 10 or 15 times a season. You know what I mean? I find it highly unlikely that in those 10 and 15 times, every single time he's hitting the ground and coming your way perfectly, no matter who you are. You know what I mean? I'm friends with a lot of great turkey hunters and, they could just be stubborn sometimes. And that's okay. I mean, the reality of it, a true turkey hunter, you want them to win sometimes. You want them to beat you. You want to learn from it. Like, the idea, like there's the things of, oh, so-and-so is a pro hunter. And I mean, other than Shockey, at least Jim's got the hat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily, I don't fault anybody for that, but I don't know that there is a pro hunter. I mean, we're promoters, we're out there promoting in a positive light, a sport and hunting that we love so much. But I learn every time I go to the woods. Every time I go out and work a turkey, I'm learning something new. Every time I'm deer hunting, I'm learning something new. If I'm doing a seminar somewhere, I'm not doing it because I'm any better than anybody else. I'm just doing it because I'm blessed and fortunate to have an opportunity to see a lot of scenarios, right? So maybe something I say or I have seen or I share with you helps you to punch a tag in the upcoming season. But in addition to that, I'm also learning a lot from different people that I go out and get to share these seminars with. People that have been hunting a long time, even longer than I have. And then all of a sudden, they hit you with something. You're like, man, I never really thought of it that way. Or man, that's a crazy scenario. That's cool. Like, what did you end up doing in that? So I enjoy learning all these aspects, no different than yourself right now, and going out there and hunting, because I don't have the perfect recipe every time. But when it comes to a roosted turkey, I would be, like I said, willing to say for all the turkey hunts that I'm on, it's a very small percentage that it's just, he hits the ground and comes on. It definitely happens. There's no doubt. Sometimes they make you look like a rock star. There's no doubt. Yeah. But the majority of the time, it is that is not the way it goes.
So those videos you see, and everybody wants to post those videos, the bird flew right down and I shot. So that's not that's the extreme. Like that's not normal.
I wouldn't say it's the extreme. I mean, that comes down to, again, give credit where credit is due, right? So like in a lot of those videos that you see that happen, that was good scouting. That was good woodsmanship. That was understanding where the turkeys are, getting yourself in position early, being sure you're where he wants to be anyways, and making it happen. So the more you can do that, the more likely those scenarios can be.
Yeah.
Especially on some ground that you really know, like, okay, I know exactly where that turkey's at. But a lot of times some of the ground we're on isn't always ground that we've ever hunted. So we may hear a turkey gobbling down in a draw or down in a bowl somewhere up on a ridge. And we've got to figure out, okay, well, I don't want to get too close because I don't really know how that lays down in there. So let's kind of hang back, let him get down and then make our moves. So again, on those videos that you see, you got to give credit where credit is due because that's good woodsmanship. They got in there, they figured it out, and they put themselves in a position to be successful.
So, and I'm not asking you to be cocky or arrogant here. I'm asking a genuine question. If you know a bird where it's roosted, like I guess the way I should say this, how much does the chance go up that you'll kill that bird as opposed to I'm just going in to try and find turkeys this morning?
Well, I mean, I can't give like an accurate percentage of what I think, but it definitely goes up drastically. I mean, if you know where a turkey is, if you know where he's kind of calling home, depending on how the ground lays and stuff like that, I mean, there's a very good chance that it might not be today, but if I know where you're living, you know what I mean? And we hunt you smart. If I catch you susceptible, there's a good chance, we're going to fill a tag on that turkey, but it depends on him. So I can't really say, okay, well, it's a guarantee, because it's not a guarantee. I also know where a lot of turkeys have lived in the past that kicked my tail every time I've tried.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like if I know where you're at and I know what you're starting to do, and I start to learn you a little bit over a few days of hunting you, like sooner or later, if I catch you when you're susceptible, we'll get you.
Before I ask this is a strictly, I need every listener to understand this, strictly a curiosity question. Because even if it is legal, I would say it's unethical. Especially being that I work for Pope and Young, and we try to hold the standard of ethics.
Right.
So this is strictly a curiosity question. Is it legal to use thermals to look in trees and find birds at night?
I don't think so. I've never even.
Okay.
I've never even thought of such a thing. I doubt it. I mean, I can't. I guess I can't answer that accurately. I never even thought of something like that, but I don't think that. I feel like that would be illegal.
Again, if it's not illegal, I would say unethical. So again, I was just curious.
I don't like the idea of that. I mean, that's. I'm not. Nothing against thermals or wherever they could be utilized to, but I mean, for me personally, I'm not for that.
Well, and really the reason I ask, I guess, because I'm getting very deeply falling in love with thermal coyote hunting, and so I spend a lot of nights.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
out in the woods with thermals.
Place. I love the thermal aspect of things, and some of these states that are legalizing for helping hunters, harvest their deer or can't find their deer and things like that. I mean, I definitely see a place for them. I mean, I just haven't thought of them as, helping to find a turkey in the tree. I haven't thought about that personally. Yeah.
Again, if it is legal, I would say I think it's unethical. Again, just a strict curiosity.
Yeah,
question.
That's their time. You know what I mean? That's their time. You know what I mean? I don't want to, I think too, like even you look at it as growing up as a kid, like I don't want to make it to where like they just don't have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hunting. You know what I mean? It's going out there, it's learning. There's the like I said, going back to the art of working a turkey and stuff. Like I don't know. I just I think we already know a lot, and you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm good. I mean, when they're sleeping and chilling out, that's their time.
Yeah. All right.
You know what I mean? They're watching Yellowstone. You know what I mean? From the roost and trying to enjoy their evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably got some Nate Hosie playing up there or something.
That's right. They got some 12s on 11 cranking some strut.
Now, all right. So walk me through some different scenarios. My first question is, and Waddell said this. He's like, I don't want to deer hunt a turkey. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to sit in a blind and wait for him to come by. You can, and there's a time and a place for it. I don't want to do that. It's not fun for me. So when would you utilize that? When would you utilize, okay, I just need to tuck myself in, and hide from this bird and let it, come by like I'm a deer hunter, versus run and gun? When would you utilize that strategy, if ever?
I think, for me, again, going back, like if you're going off of just random scenarios, I'll be a much more patient hunter and less run and gun if I have less ground, right? So if I'm at home and I have a lot of places I can go and a lot of places I can try, well, then I'm going to be a lot less patient. If I'm in an area where you said, Nate, man, great to have you out of your hunting. We got this farm. It's 400 acres, whatever it is. Yeah, whatever the farm is.
Yeah.
There's been turkeys on this thing, man. I know they're there. Well, now you have to be a little bit, you got 4 days to get it done. So now you have to adjust your tactics a little bit. You can go in and you can dive in and you can say, well, I'm going to go hard, but you can cover 400 acres pretty quick, especially on a day that they're not talking, weather permitting, different kind of things. So I would say to gear it down and definitely chill a little bit if you don't have a lot of ground to cover, because just no different than hunting a big buck. I mean, ideally you don't want them to know that you're there. You don't want to create any kind of unnecessary pressure for a turkey, just like you would a whitetail. You know what I mean? You want to be a new age Power Ranger in there. I mean, you want to be unnoticed, until it's morphin' time and he's strutting in there. You don't want to alert him to your position or to your presence per se, if you can help it. I mean, no doubt. I mean, you bump him, it happens sometimes. You can get back on him. So, I mean, deer hunting turkeys, I'm the same way. I'm not into it. You know what I mean? I want to walk. I want to strike one. I want to get set up. I want it to be fast, furious, and frantic, and let's rock and roll, and let's get some turkeys, some tags punched. And but in scenarios, again, you don't have a lot of ground. It's the only place you hunt. Turkeys aren't talking. There are other days that there could be 5, 10 longbeards on a place, and for whatever reason, they're just not into it that day. They're not hitting. They're not talking. You got to gear it down a little bit on days like that and understand you got to find them when they're susceptible. So there's definitely moments that I will utilize it. But to agree with Michael in the sense like, no, I don't want to. I mean, I spend all fall deer hunting. I don't want to deer hunt in the spring for a turkey. I mean, it's just, that's not what I want to do. Will I utilize it? Yes. And in a lot of those scenarios, or if I just know, okay, listen, those turkeys coming to this food plot every day. He's been here. I know he's in here. He's not gobbling a lot, but I know he's close. You know what I mean? I'll hang out. I'll chill out. We'll set up. We'll, so there's definitely moments that I'll utilize that tactic. And it's a super effective tactic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of real patient turkey hunters that will kill turkeys that I won't. You know what I mean? Because I've done already left, had 2 coffees, and I'm over on some other ridge miles away trying to strike one. So it could be an absolutely effective, lethal tactic. Just for me personally, as a turkey hunter, I prefer the run and gun style, and I'm looking for a particular style turkey per se. I'm looking for one in a certain mood that wants to come in there and be a rock star. You know what I'm saying?
No, that makes perfect sense, man. And again, I think that's part of why I didn't like it growing up, because I'm like, dude, I'm just sitting here waiting.
One thing with turkeys, I know you said you love bear and all that stuff. One thing about turkeys, there's a much smaller chance that they eat you. So that's one thing you could look at.
There still is a
bear,
chance.
although unlikely, still a greater chance that he eats you.
Yeah.
Compared to a turkey.
Yeah. That makes sense, dude. But you also get covered in ticks, and I'm more worried about dying from a tick or a rattlesnake than I am a bear.
We're working on a new song actually for the Woods Volume 3. It's called Frick Ticks. Me and my buddy Styles already read it. And it's pretty funny.
Sounds like a banger, dude. Sounds like it might be my ringtone during the spring if I become a turkey hunter.
It's called. It's pretty cool. Like the cover is us as Ghostbusters with the proton packs just smacking a big old tick.
That's awesome. All right. So tactics, how do tactics change? Say you're at your farm, your property. That's where, if you're listening to this and you've never turkey hunted, that's probably where you're going to start. So you're at your farm, you're at your place. You've just put this turkey to bed. What's your plan for the morning?
So if I'm at my place and I know that I've put this turkey, I've roosted them, and obviously I want to go in, I want to get in early. That's number one. I want to get in early, and I want to position ourselves.
How early are you talking?
I want to be there before the sun's coming up. I want to be there in the dark, and I want to get myself to a position. If I don't know exactly where I'm going to set up, I want to have a pretty good idea of where I'm going to be. You know what I'm saying? So I want to hike to where a vantage point that I feel comfortable about moving in once he starts to gobble. Now, if I already know where this turkey is, or say I'm familiar with the ground, I know exactly where he's at. Well, then I'm going to get in there in the dark and get positioned where I need to be prior to that. But all of it has to be under the cover of darkness per se for me, just because whether it's I'm going to a particular spot that I know I'm going to set up in, I'm going to be there. If I'm not, I'm hiking to a vantage point that I know that once it starts to break day and he hits that first gobble, I can maneuver myself into, a close proximity, 100 yards at the furthest, if possible, if ground will allow, and get myself situated.
Okay. Same scenario. You put the bird to bed. You know exactly what tree he's in because you saw him roost. How close do you try and get to that tree? I mean, you don't want to sit on the trunk of that tree. How close do you get to that tree?
Oh, again, sorry, my little boy just broke in.
For those of you listening, we just had a pause break for Nate's son. But one time, the very first time I ever had Chuck Adams on the podcast, and that there's been very few times where I'm like starstruck. But you're sitting there talking to Chuck Adams, and it's like, dude,
he's a legend, man, for sure.
And we're about halfway through the podcast, and I'm not really paying attention to the screen. And he says, "Hey, you got a naked kid behind you." And I'm like, turning around, my son standing there stark naked. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so that was the first time I ever met Chuck.
So you get it. He burst it. He said, "Dad, Spidey's over."
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I get it fully and completely. So
dude's dead.
You put the bird to bed. Yeah. You've tucked him in for the night. How close do you try to get to the place where he's sleeping? Like without,
I like the idea of 100 yards. If I can get closer, I'll get closer. Obviously, I want to be as close as I can to feel effective. But I think 100 yards is a nice feel, because what I like about that is at 100 yards, you still get that excitement of him. Oh man, he's coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he just drops into your lap, boom, and you kill him. Like, you get that working of a turkey, that gobbling back and forth, or that talking back and forth, that conversation. So I like the idea of 100 yards, because if that turkey's going to work and he's going to come, that's going to give you a lot of that. You know what I mean? That's going to give you a nice show, and he's going to make his way to you. In addition to that, obviously if you can get closer, that's great, but I just like the comfort of around 100 yards for me. I think that gives you the ability, even when there's not a lot of leaves, you start getting there, especially early spring, and it gets a little bit iffy on if you're going to get busted or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. So, same scenario. You're at your farm, but you know the property, you know the draws, you know the creeks, you know the lay of the land. But you're still going in blind in the sense where you don't know where birds are at. How does your tactic change for that?
So usually on that, I'll try to get to a vantage point. Again, not only a vantage point of where I could visually see, but one where I could hear good, right? I want to be somewhere I could hear something in the distance. And then I really want to take my time. If I don't know where there's something, but I know there's turkeys here, or I feel like there's turkeys here, I really need to take my time. And because a lot of times too, I've had mornings a turkey doesn't get to gobbling on the roost for whatever reason. Maybe he's henned up. Maybe he doesn't feel like it. Maybe he sleeps in, whatever the scenario might be. And I just take my time. I hunt a little bit. I call a little bit. I work some other areas. And all of a sudden I come back through the area I've just been an hour ago, and he just hits out of nowhere. And within 10 minutes, all of a sudden you got him. So like, we don't have all the answers all the time, right? When I can't explain to you why sometimes he gobbles so hard. You see scenarios maybe why, on better high pressure, clear days, they're going to scream more. But at the same time, I've shot him on all kinds of different days, so there's really no rhyme to the reason all the time on any of that. But I'm definitely going to take my time, get to a vantage point that I could hear good, and think of a way that if I know the area, where are turkeys usually at? I'm going to stay out of there early. You know what I mean? I'm going to get to where I can hear that area, but I'm going to say I'm not walking through it. I'm not crunching around through there. And I'm just going to kind of hunt my way in, per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Work the outside of the property, prospecting, per se, calling, yelping, and trying to find a turkey on the fringes, and then make my way interior if need be.
That makes sense. Okay. So how does that tactic change? And as you move later into the season, birds are more pressured. Birds have seen and heard more things. How does that tactic change hunting pressured birds or public land, per se, where they're just getting hunted more often?
Well, like public land and private is an interesting argument to me. You know what I mean? Because I think it again, no scenario is the same. And a lot of guys will say, well, I only hunt private. And I give you a lot of credit for that. I really honestly do. Like, that's awesome. And then some guys are like, well, I only hunt public. And I'm like, okay, I give you a lot of credit for that as well, because like there's no turkey or deer that knows whether he's on public or private. And I've been a part of a lot of hunts on private, and I've been a part of some hunts on public. And a turkey that is ready to get it on private is going to get it the same way on public. You know what I mean? When he's ready, he's going to get it. Now, again, going back to woodsmanship, people spending time to find these areas. There's some areas of public that are so vast and out there that they don't see nearly the amount of pressure that some areas of private see. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some areas of private that see a lot more pressure, people on the fringes, people on the edges. There's a lot more hunting area in there, to where some places, again, not all by any means. Again, we can't, there's too much to compare there, but some areas are so vast and out there that they don't see nearly the amount of human pressure that some of the private. In one day with Eddie Salter one time, and Eddie would confirm this, him and I were hunting up here in Pennsylvania. 3 of my private farms, we had 3 turkeys shot from out from in front of us, including one from a pickup truck. We had 3 different turkeys in one day on private ground, get shot out in front of us in one day. So, I mean, in that scenario, yeah, it's private, but people are sneaking in. People are hunting the fringes. They hear a turkey down in where I got permission and they're going down in there. So, like, is that really private? I don't know. It's kind of semi-private because, these guys are all in here banging away. And, it is what it is. But, I think that the public and private thing, I think there's the same scenarios to an extent, but pressured turkeys exist in both places, right? Like they exist both in public and in private. So how I go after those type of turkeys is you got to try to gear it down, and you really got to take your time to read what this turkey is doing, what he wants and what he doesn't want. Is he call shy? Will he answer now and then? Do you notice that when you call, he shuts up? And then when you don't call, he becomes more vocal. Maybe I need to back off him a little bit and let him get more curious, right? And maybe now I'm just scratching the leaves and I'm just letting out little whines and purrs and clucks. And all of a sudden he's just thinking, oh, well, she's just over there feeding. And now all of a sudden, he starts strutting and slowly coming towards me. But I've also dealt with turkeys too that'll hold up out there 70, 80 yards. And every time I soft yelp, he'll move. Like it's almost like he wants to hear that little bit of talk to calm him down and bring him towards you. You know what I'm saying? So in both public and private areas where you're dealing with pressured turkeys, you have to really take time to try to read what that turkey's doing. If he's call shy, if he doesn't want to come to a call, well, now you've got to utilize your woodsmanship to think, well, what does he do within a day? Where does he go? There is, in some aspects, certain amount of a little bit of a pattern to what they like to do, where he likes to go strut, what direction they may head, whether they're going to feed, whatever it is. So can you learn that? Can you put yourself in a position to be more effective? If you're on public ground where you're dealing with a lot of hunters and different things, well, you've got to use there's a lot of, all these great influencers and stuff that have these public land shows. I mean, these guys are hunters. I mean, you could tell, you watch, these people are hunters, like, traveling all over the country, hunting only public ground, dealing with all kinds of different scenarios. They're hunters, but they're great at reading the scenarios, right? Finding the ground, doing the homework, being woodsman, and figuring out ground and where stuff is and putting in the woods hours. And then you're seeing them succeed in there by reading the scenarios that they're given. Same goes for private. The same type scenarios go for private, because a stubborn turkey on private is a stubborn turkey on public. So you've got to read him the same way. You know what I'm saying? And the tactics, for me, they're not going to change any, whether it's a public turkey or a private turkey. It's just going to be, what is this turkey displaying to me? Like, how am I reading him? What do I think he needs? Is he not coming to a call? Well, then I'm going to have to try to figure out another way. Do I need to get out ahead of him? Do I need to figure out where he's going? If he is coming to a call, does he want it more aggressive, or does he want me to chill out? Does he need to be cool, calm, and collected to kind of coax him over to your position? A lot of times too, turkeys like that, stubborn turkeys, I mean, those little like one note yelps and that little like whines and purrs and just scratching those leaves to where they just think there's hens feeding. I mean, that could be absolutely lethal on a stubborn turkey, because it adds so much more realism to your scenario when he's hearing a lot of those little whines and stuff like that. Is that a lot of times you see hens, or when they're coming through and there's a little flock of them, those noises they're making, all those whimpers and the whines and the little clucks and purrs, and while they feed, that just makes him a little bit more comfortable because it's more real. It feels more real. So you're adding realism to that scenario.
And I know for the listener, I might be all over the place with my questions. However, I'm trying to dissect this again as a new turkey hunter. So the more that Nate talks, the more these questions come up in my mind. If putting a bird to bed is so important, if knowing where that bird is, what are your nighttime tactics, if you will? Like, how do you go into a property to know where the birds are at for the morning?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think it's so important. I mean, in the sense of like, it could help you be more effective and it gives you more intel. But if you're the worker man and you're out there and you just don't have time to go do it, it's not like you're going to be an unsuccessful turkey hunter. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times in the afternoon and the evenings, you go unsuccessful finding them anyways. But it just gives you the ability. You still don't know for sure what he's going to do in the morning. You don't know that you might know exactly where he is on the limb, but you don't know that he's going to act right. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh man, I know he's right on that ridge right there. And you get in, you get set up and you're like, it's fixing to be on here in a second. And he lets out 2 gobbles. And as soon as it breaks daylight, he flies to the next county at the base of the ridge and just soars. You know what I mean? And then like your whole idea of, oh, he was going to pitch right in. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
All it does is just give you more intel. But when I'm going in the afternoon, I like to go out about that last hour, right? Last hour to 45 minutes. And I will usually start it by turkey calling, soft yelping, just kind of feeding calls, just trying to see if I can get one to hit. Now, I don't want to call too much because I also don't want to pull him to me, right? But I just want enough to make him hit. If I get on a high point, sometimes I might, just hit him with a quick snap just to try to get him to shock, even if he won't, you know what I mean? But I just hit him with a quick cut on my yelping on an area that I can hear a long ways and just see if I can get one to fire so I know where he is. If I know where one is, I'll wait with him until dark and try to get him to gobble on the limb, right? If he won't gobble on the limb, or if I don't know where there is one, I'm still going to wait until dark and I'm going to go to owl hooting. Right now I'm trying to just basically fire him up or at least get him to shot gobble at an owl. Okay. You could even utilize a crow call if you're out there that last hour, just something to get him to give away his location. Again, I'm not looking to work the turkey. I'm just looking to know he's here or in this vicinity. But I always love to, if I can, even if I get a turkey. So let's say I haven't been there long, but I got to an area at the last little bit and I owl hooted in one hit. I will always try to give him at least one series of yelping or calling. And all that is doing is giving me an idea of what his temperature is. You know what I mean? Like if I call to him in the evening and he's just ripping, he's just ripping. I have a lot of confidence going in the next day that he is going to be on fire once day breaks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just a personal thing for me to feel that. Like, doesn't mean I'm going to kill him. Doesn't mean I'm going to kill him. But I want to check his temperature because I've had a lot of turkeys that we've killed in the afternoon. You just sit there and they're just screaming. And I'm like, man, I'm excited. And the next morning, it's like he can't stand it. He can't stand it because he went to bed. That lady, she was singing all those love songs to him last night and all the things. And he just laid in bed all night last night watching Forensic Files, thinking about, in the morning when I get up. And I feel like it kind of creates an urgency to him in the morning. And again, this is a personal thing that I feel. So I always try to check him with a turkey call, but a lot of times that's how I'm approaching my afternoons. A little bit of light calling, soft calling, trying to strike one. I would like to hear him hit a hen just because, I'm not going to owl call him in per se, right? So I'd like to hear him. I'd like to hear him hit something that I'm doing turkey wise. And then last resort at that last little bit, I'm basically just locating then, just owl calling. If he hits, I'll give him one yelp just to see if he hits it and call it an afternoon.
All right. So how does that change for in the morning? What I mean by that is the turkey's on the limb, but he really didn't act like he was super fired up versus, man, I know where that turkey's at and dude, he's ready for some love in the morning. How does that change what you do in the morning?
Well, if he's ripping, I'm on pins and needles all night long. I'm excited. I'm like, man, it's going to happen. I'm already.
You're tossing and turning just like he is.
Yeah, I'm envisioning this in my mind because I've seen this scenario, right? So I'm thinking of all the different things, but at the same time, there's the pressure of it. I don't want to mess this up. Don't screw this up. He's on fire, man. This is going to be unbelievable, And so there's that side of it. But I will go in and again, like I was saying, I would try to get 100 yards or closer. I don't want to get 30 yards. I want to get a little bubble that I can enjoy the conversation, enjoy the hunt. And basically start it off in reverse per se. If I know where he's at, well, I'm going to get set already. I'm going to get set where I think I need to go. If I have to get into an area to get a better feel of where he is, like, okay, I know he's up in there, but I don't exactly know where he was. Well, now I'm going to get to a vantage point. I'm going to hit him with an owl hoot. I'm going to go reverse. I'm going to owl hoot first and try to get him to gobble early. The earlier he'll gobble at me, the more ground I can make, with the cover of darkness.
Yes,
so I'm trying to get him to hit so that I could make my approach, my final descent in, now knowing exactly roughly where he's at. If I don't know where he is, it's the same type scenario. I'm going in, I'm going to reverse. Now I'm owl hooting at the earliest I can to where I think he might probably gobble right now, starting to break light. He's probably getting ready to wake up, and I'll hit him. And if nothing, I am envisioning 50 hens that I've seen along the way that I'm like, what's she doing here today? I'm starting to prune myself up on that limb, and I'm starting to just, I'm starting to wake up myself. Now I'm waking up here. So I'm now creating a scenario just in my head. If you used to call competition or anything like that, what did I used to run? When I've watched hens, when I broke up flocks, learning, or I watched a hen come in that I called in, what does she do? Right. So now I'm waking up as her, and I'm letting the woods hear me. And I'm little by little, I was compared to my wife. She's got like 15 alarms. You know what I mean? She's got the one alarm that's to slightly wake her up. Then she's got the other 18 to, like, I guess they're supposed to wake her up too. So this hen's waking up slowly, right? Then I'm gonna cackle. The boss hen, she likes to stay roosted. But then I'm gonna, eventually I'm gonna start slow. I'm gonna be real. And then now I'm waking up. I'm on the ground. You know what I mean? And then I'm starting a little bit louder calling. And now if there's nothing, we're going to start prospecting. We're going to start working the woods a little bit, looking for sign, looking for vantage points that we can call down into areas, cover some ground, get a box call out, get a slate call out, and let's rip and see if we can locate one. And then once we locate one, game on.
Okay. Now, and maybe the answer is not at all. Maybe it's dramatic. How does your tactics change if you are amongst a ton of birds versus, you've got a single?
Mm-hmm. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you got a good hide. Number one, if you're dealing with a lot of eyes, I mean, you've at least been around enough turkeys to understand how good they see and how good they pick things out. So when you're around a lot of turkeys and dealing with a lot of eyes, you got to make sure you got a good hide. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you got a good setup. You got to make sure if you are going to cover ground, you better be careful, because now you're not dealing with a scenario where you think there's one or two turkeys. I mean, you got a flock or a potential of, a pretty good amount of eyes in there to be seen. So all of your tactics have really got to kind of slow down a little bit, because, once you get things putting and causing a scene and causing some issues, it could definitely affect the outcome of your hunt.
So at what point do you know, okay, it's time to sit down and not move anymore?
You could usually tell a lot of the ways in how he starts to hit you, like how he starts to respond to you. And there's always a moment, and this is probably my favorite moment of turkey hunting. It, really isn't the shooting them, you know what I mean? But my favorite moment is like that last gobble right before you see him. Like when like there is no doubt now, like he is coming. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like
yeah.
And it's like, he's starting to get fired up, and he's cut me off. Oh, he's getting ripped, right? And then there's always a moment on everyone where it's just like, and you're like, okay, like now, like get ready, like he is coming right there. You know what I'm saying? And that is like, I think for turkey hunters, especially turkey hunters who love to call, like that is that moment. It's outside of even just hearing the gun go off, which is great as well. It's just that moment of like, that he is locked in on you now. And not only is he locked in on what you're saying, but he has covered ground. You know what I mean? Like he has covered ground to your location. So I think for me, like I'll start to read the way he's responding. Maybe at first he was just kind of giving me a gobble. Now maybe he's cut me off. But now not only has he cut me off, but now when I take a break, if I don't call for a minute, he's hitting. Where are you? Where are you at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, so I'm reading different things he's doing. And again, each scenario is going to be different. But those are just some circumstances to where I'm reading what that turkey's saying to me. Like once he starts looking for me, now we're getting in a much better place. Right. Now we're getting to a place to where I feel like now I can start playing the game, because I'm playing your feelings, your emotions. You're not only answering to my call, but now you are like, where are you at? You know what I mean? Like, what are you?
Yeah.
You're just yelping at, singing that sweet love song to me a second ago. Where'd you go?
All right. I think I've got two more questions that might lead into more.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do your tactics change when you have a gun versus a bow?
Gun versus a bow, it's got to come down to your setup, right? So that's number one. With bow hunting turkeys, you're going to have to draw, right? We know that. So where, how, and when are you going to draw?
You don't have to. You're just not going to kill them if you don't.
That's right. You can, well, there was those rules, let them walk or whatever on the turkey things a while ago. So maybe you just sit there and just let, you know what I mean? Like there's all the new rules nowadays. You can't use decoys. You can't do this. Like, so I don't know where this falls into the new rule book. But if somebody's like, I'm going to bow hunt, my mind first thing goes to the draw. Where are we drawing? Okay. Not only I'm not worried about if the turkey's coming or not. I'm worried about when he's there. What are we doing? So in our setup, are we in a blind? Are we not in a blind? If we're not in a blind, where's the draw? The draw is going to be, okay, he's going to be at the decoys. If we're not using decoys, where's it going to be? So I think that there's a little bit more questions when you're hunting with a bow as far as when am I going to draw and where. Gun hunting, it's more like where can I shoot the most effective with my effective range? Right? Where can I see the best? To where bow hunting, I just think it's more of like, where am I going to draw at? Where could I get comfortable to once that turkey comes in and gives me a moment, when am I drawing? So like, I mean, for me, that's what I'm thinking, so that's just kind of the difference. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. I mean, we're going to work the turkey the same. We're going to put the decoys the same. But I need to know, when are you drawn? Where are you drawn? Where do I think it should happen? And when do I think it should happen? And how could we put that turkey in that kind of scenario to make that happen, whether it's through decoy placement, through where I'm positioned as a caller, where you're positioned as a shooter, or if I'm shooting, where am I going to be? And how do I need to know when, okay, I'm going to set up by this, because if he comes up from that direction, look at that big blowdown right there. As soon as he goes behind that blowdown, I'm going to draw and I'm going to wait. And Lord willing, I'm going to shoot him right here. You know what I mean? So there's just those scenarios I think that are different. But as far as working the turkey, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same run.
Do you bow hunt turkeys at all? Or are you primarily gun?
I don't do it a lot, but I have bow hunted turkeys. I like hunting them. If I'm going to bow hunt, I like to do it outside of a blind. Like I like to make it just me and him. And I shot one a few years back in New Jersey, bow hunting out there, and I've shot some turkeys with a bow. It's fun. It's a challenge. You know what I mean? I give a lot of credit if people. I enjoy gun hunting turkeys, but I have a lot of respect if people want to bow hunt them.
I will say this: when I announced that I was doing this, I got that question. Maybe you don't like it because you've never bow hunted them. I think I've actually only bow hunted them. And the reason that I am 98% bow hunter is because I like the close encounter with animals.
Yeah, of course.
And so my thoughts on turkey hunting, and so to answer everybody's question, my thought on turkey hunting is even with a shotgun, they're inside 30 yards. So you still get the close encounter. So why make it even harder on myself as a new turkey hunter by taking a bow? So I will be taking a gun, because even with a shotgun turkey hunting, I still get those close encounters.
And it's real tight stuff. It's an amazing thing as an archer to be able to pull it off and get a turkey with the bow. It's a great thing. I think when you look at it from a turkey hunting standpoint in how you grew up with them, like what I think is a little bit is like when you get to that moment, right? Like when you get to the moment of shot and you bow hunt, bow hunting is so stealthy, right? It's whether you're elk hunting, whitetail, it's like you're not even there. It's just, you know what I mean? And that's the point, right? That's the point, is the stealth mode of bow hunting in close. To where turkey hunting, when you're brought up and there's that big explosion at the end, right? Like it's like that big, like, okay, it's all this. Turkey's coming, screaming, gobbling up, and it's just boom, you know what I mean? And it's just I think that is something that's just a little bit different, to where, with the bow, it's kind of like, and maybe sometimes, you're chasing them down, or where they're gun. It's just like in the scenarios where it works out right, it's just I don't want to say like a little bit more climactic, but kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like there's that anticipation of that big bang, when that gun goes off.
Yeah.
That I think when you grow up around that, you really look forward to. Or if your buddy's up there, you're just waiting to hear the shot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's, there's a little of that, but I'm all for the hunter. I mean, I don't care if you're hunting with a blowgun. I mean, if it's a legal tactic in your state, whatever you want to do, trust me, I support it.
If you're out there, old Tim Wells in it, slock masting or nah, I ain't about that.
That's exactly right. If you're slocking them.
And I'll say this too, like, no, for all you thugs, I'm not taking a recurve turkey hunting. I had a buddy that wanted to start hunting with a recurve, and he calls me. He's like, yeah, this ain't for me. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, I've hit 3 turkeys and not gotten them. And I'm like, yeah, because turkeys is the worst thing to start with. Like,
yeah, it's tough. It's not easy.
By far the worst thing to start with.
None of us are in the game of hurting anything either. So, I mean, you want to make sure you're effective no matter what weapon of choice you go to the woods with. You want to make sure that, there's nothing worse than wounding something.
Yeah. All right. How do your tactics change? Decoy versus no decoy. When do you leave the decoy in the truck? Do you ever leave the decoy in the truck? If you're not hunting with a decoy, what are you doing differently? If you do have a decoy, all that sort of thing.
I mean, decoys and stuff like that. I mean, we get to utilize them a lot, you know, and they're incredible as far as being able to enjoy the show, especially when you're taking a lot of people throughout the year, which we do. We take a lot of kids. We take a lot of people who've never killed a turkey. We take a lot of people who don't turkey hunt nearly as much as us. And I love a decoy because it gives them something else to focus on while you might have to make some moves. If you got a little kid or something like that, or somebody who's never done it, you know, it gives some attention off of what you're doing over here. Or, you know, once they come in and they're looking hard, oh, there they are. And it gives that, you know, and it's a nice show too. It's fun to watch them come in and display and strut around those decoys and all that stuff. If I'm not, which I grew up never using decoys. I mean, that's all I did was calling turkeys. And if I'm hunting with somebody, it's all in the game of you're going up 30, 40 yards ahead of me. And before he ever gets to where he thinks I'm at, you know, you're going to send the fire. And if I'm not, then I'm still playing it the same way. I mean, you know, the decoy is really just for the finish. Now, there are scenarios, especially in fields and things like that, that it's going to help you drastically when they see that decoy to come down there and get all up in your setup. But either way is a super effective tactic, and either way is fun. You know what I mean? Whether you choose to utilize decoys or you choose to just go straight turkey calling. I mean, I'm a fan of either one, and either one is extremely effective. You know, you can also have scenarios where a decoy can hurt you sometimes. Turkey comes in, doesn't like them for whatever reason, putts and gets out of there, even though he's screamed for 200 yards coming.
Yeah.
You know, so you run that risk with that sometimes too. But, you know, my tactics are pretty much the same. It's just play the ground. If I don't have one, he needs to come to where I'm at. If I don't have a decoy, I want to position it to where he's not looking exactly at me from 100 yards out there. And be like, man, that doesn't seem right. I should be able to see whatever is there. You know what I mean?
So does your final setup, and that brings me to that question, does your final setup kind of change as far as like, okay, if I have a decoy, I want them to see down here from a ways versus if I don't have a decoy, I want to be tucked in somewhere where
100%.
the first time they get in, I'm killing them.
Yeah, you want to play it. You want to make them have to look for you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point. If you don't have a decoy, you want to put him in a position where he has to get close to you to be able to see you. You know what I'm saying? Now, that could also be, you know, can you avoid that if you can't? Well, then you can play it by calling. Okay, he gets to 70, 80 yards. He should be able to see you now, and maybe now back off him and let his curiosity build and come down in there to your location. You know, there's a million different scenarios. And again, each one could be different. But as far as the calling situation, no, I mean, yeah, a decoy, I want him to be able to see it where I think he's going to pop out at first. Not that he can't swing it, not that he can't do something different, but where is he going to see it from the longest point? If I'm not utilizing the decoy, where does he have to get to where once we start to see him, he's already in trouble?
Yeah. All right. And I'm glad you said what you said about the new rules. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't really live in the turkey world. Yeah. What is your thoughts on turkey reaping, and do you ever do it?
Man, 100%. Like in areas that it's lawful, if it's legal to do it, like Pennsylvania, you can't do it, right? You can't shield yourself and things like that. But in areas that it's a legal, lawful method for a hunter to go out there and enjoy it. If that's what you want to do, go do it. It's a legal tactic. You know what I mean? In states that it's legal, like if it's illegal, don't do it. If it's legal, I am never going to hate on the man or the woman that is out there trying to punch their tag and enjoy their time in God's creation, hunting turkeys with a lawful method, period.
So what's people's problem with it? It makes it too easy?
Well, I think to an extent, you got to look at it like this. I mean, I think the problem is this. Could it make it easy? 100%. But it can also make it difficult. Like I was just saying, there could be a turkey that doesn't even want to see that decoy. And the second you show it to them, they're gone. Right. Mm-hmm. But there's also the scenarios. And I think this is where the argument is. Like, for example, like my two younger sisters, Molly and Emily, they've never turkey hunted a day in their life. You know what I mean? With me. But there are scenarios to where I could say, listen, if this was lawful in this state, I want you to crawl out there with that decoy. Okay. Now, when I think about my upbringing as a turkey hunter, I did everything wrong. I called too much. I called too bad. I called too little. I didn't call enough. I called when I shouldn't have. I've done every single wrong thing I could do to learn how to turkey call. And it took a long time, and I'm still learning today to get to a point to where I can read them a little bit, right? To where I can read scenarios and understand what to say, when to say it, how to say it. Whereas in the right scenario, the very first time that my sister were to crawl out there with that decoy, if it's the right turkey, she can pull him right to her that day. You know what I'm saying? So I think maybe that's where the argument comes in. Is it 100%? Of course not. Right? Am I 100% for it where it's legal? Without a doubt, because I'm for the hunter. I'm for whatever tactic you choose to enjoy your time out there. But I think that's where the argument comes in, because there are times with it. Yeah, you can make it look easy, and you could take somebody who's not a turkey hunter and they can kill turkeys. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the argument comes in. You understand what I'm saying? Certain turkeys in a field per se that may not work to a turkey call. The only way he may get it is through manipulation of a fan or a decoy. Now, if you're in a state that it's lawful, what's wrong in doing that? You're manipulating him through calling or anything like that. So what's the argument? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the argument? Like, why? I think it's just, I mean, you know, people, especially social media, I mean, they'll just argue over anything. But I mean, how are you going to argue or downplay or discredit somebody that's utilizing a lawful method to go out and be successful? You know what I mean? I could see where some of the argument is, and maybe that's why, you know? So, I mean, again, it's dangerous, right? It could be extremely dangerous. But if it's lawful and it's legal by your game laws, you go enjoy the woods however you want to enjoy it. I'm not going to hate on you. But you know me, I'm not a ranter. I'm not a hater. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just enjoy it. I want you to have fun in a legal, safe way and enjoy it.
You heard it here first, guys. Nate Hosie's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, I'm not looking to, I want people to just enjoy the woods and enjoy their time out there in a lawful method, a safe method.
And again, this is coming from somebody who didn't live in the turkey world, but as I saw those and heard those, the arguments and the complaints, I'm like, I was like you. I'm like, what? That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my lifetime, that you just shot a bird 3 feet in front of you and it was trying to fight you. Like, that's that. And to me, like that, if you want to get me fired up for turkey hunting, have one run at me to fight me. Like, that is
100%.
That sounds epic, dude.
Each his own. You know what I mean? Like whatever is a lawful method that you enjoy.
To me, I don't see the difference. Have fun. To me, I don't see the difference if the decoy's 15 yards out in front of you, if it's on your gun. Like, I don't see the difference in that. And again, I have not looked into this a lot. I have not thought much on this, but to me, if you're going to be against turkey reaping, then you should be against decoys, period. That's,
well, I think some people's argument too on it, and it is the same. The only one difference between 15 yards and on your gun is if in the scenario that you were mistaken, you know what I mean? It's going to be a bad deal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because that has happened along the way, you know, where people are shot, which in Pennsylvania, like I said, you cannot shield your body with that turkey. You cannot utilize it as a shield. You can have them close to you, set up in the ground, you know, stationary or whatever, but you can't, you know, shield your body and hide behind that turkey. You know, you think about if somebody, because as real as these decoys are nowadays, I mean, I do understand the danger of it, right? And I think you have to, as a hunter, to understand that, like, you get 35 yards from that thing and somebody who doesn't really do it a lot, and you come up with that thing facing with a real tail fan in there in the woods, I mean, it's going to look pretty stinking real. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to look, especially if it's somebody who understands how to maneuver them, how to make it look like it's a turkey and sound like a turkey while they're out there. I mean, there is a definite danger aspect to having it cover your person that I think needs to be understood. I mean, you know, you need to understand how severe it could be if it goes bad, you know what I'm saying? But if it's a lawful legal tactic and you choose to do it, you know, hunt them up, go get them.
Well, never mind. I think if you shoot somebody and you can't see an entire body crawling behind there, probably shouldn't be hunting. That's my.
Well, you got to look at it too. Like, you got to look at the scenarios. Like, it's one thing if you're out in the middle of a field, right? But if like somebody's creeping through the woods, coming up to your location, you know, playing the ridges or different things, or they're laid down behind things, like, you just got to envision all these wild scenarios because it could happen. A field, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You should be able to see the man or woman behind it. You get in the woods and it can get weird. You know what I'm saying? So it can get a little weird because the decoys nowadays, they're real as could be, man. They look great. A lot of them.
Before we get to our rapid fire questions, do not forget that in conjunction with the series every day, we have a turkey hunt giveaway. So we are giving away a guided turkey hunt here in Kansas. Nate, you are not eligible to win. Free guided turkey hunt here in Kansas. Blocker Outdoors is throwing in $300 worth of their gear. You get to shop their website, whatever you need. If you need a new vest, you need a new chest harness, clothes, whatever, $300 on their website, and a brand new pack of the of the Dirty Birds from G5 Broadheads. So all you've got to do to be entered to win is make sure you are subscribed to the Typical Sportsman podcast on either Spotify or YouTube, and go like and follow all of those folks on Instagram. Blocker, G5, and Skeen Outfitters is who you'll be turkey hunting with. Make sure and go like and follow those guys on Instagram, and you'll be entered to win that free guided hunt as well as that new gear. All right, Nate, it is time for our rapid fire questions presented by Tito Knives. If you could play a concert with anybody, who would it be?
If I could play a concert with anybody?
Dead or alive? Dead or alive. Let me say that.
I'd love to play a show with Tom Petty. When I was a kid, when I was a kid, I grew up, my uncles and my dad, they all listened to a lot of Tom Petty. And when both of our boys, even when Tiffany was pregnant with Cruz and with Nash, I would literally sing to her belly at night, Won't Back Down. And I sang it to them a lot. Cruz has come out on stage quite a bit to play that song. And the idea of just in life, don't back down to what's right. There's good, there's bad, there's right, there's wrong. And you know what I mean? You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. And I think Tom Petty has just been such a musical icon. I think that would be a really cool show to play.
Who's the coolest person you've ever got to play a show with?
Honestly, there's a ton of them, but I remember, I think as a hunter and outdoorsman, when I got the opportunity to play a show with Ted Nugent, that's it's pretty hard to beat, right? I remember we were playing the Golden Moose Awards in Las Vegas, and I looked at the rundown of the day, and it was Nate Hosie sound check 3:30, whatever. And then I saw Ted Nugent was coming right after me, but I had never met Ted at the time. And I'll never forget this. I don't know if he even remembers, but he walked in, we were finishing up our sound check, and he walked over, and I said, Mr. Nugent, man, what an honor to meet you. Have utmost respect for all that you do for people like myself who love hunting and the outdoors and firearms. And he said, man, it's my pleasure. But he said, I didn't even recognize you without the raccoon paint. Right. And I was like, he knows who I am. You know what I mean? So that was pretty funny to me that he said that. And then I had the opportunity to open up for him in Warren, Ohio, for a show. So that one was pretty cool. Again, I've had an amazing blessing of opening up and sharing the stage with amazing artists, but that one is pretty cool. Uncle Ted, he's the man. Yeah, he's awesome.
I was emceeing an event last year, and during the break, John Bear came up to do some auction, and I just stepped aside, and one of my buddies was like, dude, Ted Nugent's in the back. And I was just like, I got so nervous. I'm like, holy cow. Okay, this just went to a whole new level.
Dude, man. He's
a legend.
What the heck? Yeah,
he's a legend. I asked Nick Hoffman that yesterday on his rapid fires, and he said Merle Haggard, if he could play with anybody, if he could play with anybody, it'd be Merle Haggard. I didn't ask him who his favorite person was. Have you ever played with Nick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've played some shows together over the years at different trade shows and stuff. He's a great musician, and he's a great person.
Well, I'm sure if I would have asked him who his favorite person he ever played with was, it would have been Nate Hosie.
When you look at some of the, his clientele, Kenny Chesney that he's played with, I'm sure I'm right up there at the top.
You have to be. You've got to be
at least. I got to be at least the top three.
Yeah, I mean, you would think. If not, then he's lying.
If not, I'm unfollowing him on Instagram.
I would. If you could hunt with anybody tomorrow, dead or alive, who would it be?
My grandpa.
Oh yeah.
My grandpa. Yeah. If I could go out with my grandpa and, let him see his great grandsons, how much they love hunting in the outdoors, and, be able to share some of the stories over the last, 16 years of filming Headhunters TV and let them see all that we're doing here at the lease and stuff. I mean, that would be pretty incredible for me. You know what I mean? Just to be able to show them that we're carrying it on, we're carrying the torch for him. But I know he's watching down from the best seat in the house. But if I can hunt with anybody, it'd be him again.
Very cool.
I miss hunting with him.
If you could hunt any species tomorrow, tags and money's no object, what are you hunting?
I think I do an Alaskan moose.
Oh, that's a good answer.
It's just a dream of mine to go up there. I almost did it last year, and I think that would be that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. If you could only hunt one species the rest of your life, what would it be?
Turkeys all day, baby.
Really?
Give me that mouth call on a shotgun. You're darn right, man.
You don't get to shoot a deer the rest of your life, but you're okay with shooting birds
all day.
See, I want that. Like, I want that addiction. I
hunt deer just to get to turkey season.
What's your go-to snack in the turkey woods?
Go-to snack in the turkey woods would have to be, I like those, I think you say it goats. You know those little caramel candies with the white center, the vanilla center?
Oh, yeah.
I like to have those with a cup of coffee in the morning. Have a little sweet bite as well. And they're a nice light snack that don't weigh me down too much if I'm out in the woods, but a nice sweet treat in between. You know what I mean?
I got you. What's your go-to?
You got your mouth crawl tasting like caramel for the rest of the day.
What's your go-to pastime in the tree stand?
Praying.
I mean, I can't argue with that answer. It's a good answer. Yeah. Very good answer. What is the furthest you've ever shot a turkey?
I've probably shot them around, I think probably the furthest, maybe 65.
Okay. Shortest distance you ever shot a turkey?
3 yards, 2-3 yards, something like that.
Sucking on the end of your barrel? That's how you really get them.
Yeah, we've had some close. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Close. Yeah, it's really fun.
That's another reason I'm getting more fired up about it. It's just how close you can get them is
I think like, especially for me and guys like me, like, it's not necessarily, and again, not hating on fanning in any way, but like I try to get them with a decoy. Like I just like to see how close could I get them without having to be behind it. Like I'm talking about, like I'm set up just waiting on him and he's 3-5 yards away strutting there. Like, that's been what I've really enjoyed doing.
Right. All right. Would you rather forget your release or hunt completely naked?
Man, I'd have to go and forget my release, especially for scuba. I mean, it's going to be an awkward day for him.
I like asking hunters musicians this one. You're trapped in camp all week long.
Yeah.
With either an anti-hunter or somebody that never stops singing and playing a guitar, but they cannot sing and play a guitar at all.
So who would I rather share camp with?
Yep, an anti-hunter or somebody who they're always playing and singing, but they absolutely are terrible.
Well, it still can't, like if you're talking about an anti that's like really against it, I mean, there's nothing worse than that nonsense. So I'll just, if it's somebody that's just like, I just never really did it, but at least could have an open. I was sharing a flight with a lady to Colorado one time and we landed. She said, "What are you doing here?" We talked about kids, grandkids, everything in her life. Nice conversation. I said, She said, "What are you doing here?" I said, I'm hunting elk. She said, "Hunting elk?" Well, I'm not telling you good luck. I can't stand hunting. I said, "You don't have to. You could just say it was nice talking to you." You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking for that. So, but if it's an anti-hunter, I'm not listening to that noise. I'd rather listen to the bad music and just deal with it.
All right.
You know what I mean?
And we already talked about this a little bit. Are you a public land or a private land hunter? I'm
for both. I'm for the hunter. I'm all about whatever you're doing that gets you out there and that you enjoy it. Like I said, I mean, I'm for both. I'm for whatever has somebody out there enjoying God's creation in the outdoors. And I respect and appreciate both the public lands and the private. I mean, I love it all. I'm all for both of it.
Would you rather have soaking wet socks all day long or those giant, the pterodactyl sized mosquitoes that sound like a bomber
wet
going
socks.
by you? 100%. It's the only way to go.
Yeah,
90 mile an hour with no wind or 10 degrees with a constant 20 mile an hour wind?
Wait, 90 miles an hour with no wind or 90 degrees?
90 degrees, no wind, 10 degrees, 20 mile an hour wind.
What am I hunting?
Deer.
10, no wind.
No, 10 comes with 20 mile an hour wind.
And was the other one 90 with?
With no wind. So 90, no wind, 10 with 20 mile an hour wind.
I'll take the 20 mile an hour wind.
Me too. I hate being hot when I'm hunting.
Yeah.
What's the biggest gimmick in turkey hunting?
The biggest gimmick? That's not fun. That I don't have time for a turkey. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are like, man, I just don't have no interest in turkey hunting. I'm like, you ain't done it right then. You haven't got out there and been a part of it yet.
Yeah.
It's like a line of why I hunt. It's like, I can tell you, but you can't know. You won't know until you go. Like, if you get out there and you get on one that's just screaming, coming in, just locked. And then the end of that, if you could turn back and tell me you don't love it, well, then I guess we're just not friends. We just can't be friends anyways, you know?
All right. The TV in camp all week long is stuck on one channel, one cartoon at full volume. What cartoon are you going to be stuck in camp with?
Man, cartoon. I've watched so much.
Oh, you've got young kids.
Bluey.
You know all the cartoons.
When I was a kid, it was Bobby's World. You know what I mean? We watched Bobby's World all the time, you know, when I was younger. But let me think here. A cartoon. I guess I like that cartoon on YouTube. I don't know if it's a cartoon or just clips, but like Young David, we watch that a lot here. My little boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd go with that.
Yeah, the new David movie. Have you taken your boys to see the new David movie?
Yeah,
absolutely, just an unbelievable movie.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's a good answer. I've always said I have the perfect answer to that question. Have your boys ever found or discovered Grizzy and the Lemmings?
No.
Oh, dude, they need go find it right now.
We'll go there today. We'll find it today.
It's the old Tom and Jerry style show, but it's the grizzly bear versus the lemmings, and there's no talking, so you don't have to listen to all the talking. But it's just it's a funny, goofy show that I always find myself snickering at. What the lemmings are doing to the grizzly. Nice. Anyways, if it's legal to steal for 1 hour, what's Nate Hosie going after?
Legal to steal for 1 hour. I mean, as crazy as truck prices have got, I guess drop me off at a truck dealership somewhere and see what we can come up with.
That's a pretty good one.
You know what I mean? Let's go down to a truck dealership for a little while.
Yeah. And then finally, what kind of truck are you going with? What brand of truck are you going with?
Chevrolet Trail Boss.
Only way to go. If you'd have said Ford, I'd have said, yeah, well, in the podcast.
I would literally just turn it off.
All right. And finally, you forget your toilet paper back at the truck. What are you wiping with?
You got to go with a sock, I would imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to go with a sock.
Yeah. I don't cut my sleeves, man. I spend too much money on camo. I'm going with a sock all day long.
But you know what? We are too advanced now to be dealing with that kind of rookie nonsense. When you're throwing down a pot and a half of coffee in the morning, you need to be prepared.
Yeah, I will say episode 1 of this series with Waddell, when that question was raised, the idea came about of designing, like the new gloves that have the cut lines where you can just cut them right there.
Yes.
The idea came about of giving a guy cut sleeves all the way up. That way, as you go, it's just like a cut line, and you got, you got 10 wipes over here and 10 wipes over here. And I'm like,
you are completely prepared for any woods movement that should arise.
I'm like, dude, that's a crappy shirt right there. If I do say so myself. All right, Nate. What all can the people expect this year coming from you? Where are all you turkey hunting at? You got anything cool?
I'm heading down to Florida March the 9th. So here in the next week and a half, I'll be down in Florida, and then we'll go all throughout the South. Florida, Alabama. We'll do Missouri. We'll do Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania. We'll do North Carolina, South Carolina, I believe. So, it's going to be rocking and rolling. We're going to have a great spring. We're looking forward to it. We've got a lot of great people we're going to be hunting with, and some new people to the turkey woods that I'm really excited to get out and experience turkey hunting with them. And we're just going to have fun, man. We're going to thank God for the opportunity to be out there and to be a part of his woods again this spring. We're going to enjoy it and we're going to have fun. I mean, I think that's for anybody, no matter whether you like decoys, don't like turkey hunting or what, like just get out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you're out there with your friends, enjoy it. You're out there with your family, enjoy it. You're out there by yourself. What a blessing it is to be able to get out there and in the great outdoors and listen to a turkey gobble and enjoy it with your family and friends. So just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you do more traveling? Do you hunt more states for turkeys than you do deer?
I mean, probably around the same. Around the same, I'd say.
Very cool. Nate, where can they find you on social? Where can they find
all my socials are under my name, Nate Hosie, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Headhunters TV's on the Outdoor Channel. We got Headhunters on Instagram, Facebook. So you can check us out on any of that stuff. And our team, Scuba and Randy, they have their personals as well.
Very cool. Guys, definitely go follow Nate, go follow Headhunters. And then if I fall in love with turkey hunting and I am never hunting anything else in my entire life, again. When I fall in love with turkey hunting, I am going to tell my wife, like, you have Nate Hosie to blame for the new addiction. But really, guys, I truly am.
I will take that.
I truly am excited for this. I'm excited for this series. I'm so excited to give the people something. I wanted to really give you guys something from Monday to Friday that if you've never turkey hunted before, you can digest this and feel like you're ready to go out and turkey hunt. Or if you're a diehard turkey hunter, maybe from one of these guys along the way, you hear something that'll make you a better turkey hunter. That was the purpose of all of this. And it has been fun. And for the first time in a long time. And I hope for the listener, as you're listening through these, you're getting fired up to go turkey hunting this spring, because that's exactly what it's done for me, is firing me up. I was on my way home from church last night and I looked at my son over in the seat and I'm like, dude, are you ready to go turkey hunting? And he's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, we're fired up to turkey hunt. And I hope that's what happens for the listener as well. If you are a traditional archer, then you are probably familiar with Three Rivers Archery. If you are an aspiring traditional archer, you've probably heard of Three Rivers Archery. And if you are even curious about traditional archery or hope to do it one day, you need to become familiar with Three Rivers Archery. Why? Because Three Rivers Archery is a wealth of knowledge on all things traditional archery. You can call those guys up, whether you're going to buy from them or not, and ask them any question under the sun, and they'll be able to help you. From spining of arrows to weights of broadheads to string links to AMO links, any question in between, tuning a bow, they are there to help you. They also sell everything you could ever dream of needing when being a traditional archer, from bows and arrows, broadheads, tabs, gloves, strings, stringers, cases, display racks. If it has to do with traditional archery, Three Rivers has it, and they know about the product. So you can call them and ask them any kind of question, and they're there to help you. They are the single largest distributor of all things traditional archery. They offer same-day shipping. They are phenomenal. Guys, if you are a traditional archer or you've ever even wanted to look in traditional archery, Three Rivers Archery is your place to go for all things traditional archery. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a fantastic week. Good luck this spring, and keep the dusty side up.